Hey there, in this video I'm going to explain how stretching can make you stronger. So just stretching every single muscle will not make you stronger. How stretching can make you stronger is by stretching your tight muscle. So let's think about this here. If your hamstrings are tight, it doesn't matter what exercises you do for your glutes, and it doesn't matter how hard you push yourself. If you have tight hamstrings, you aren't going to be able to develop strong glutes. Before you can develop strong glutes, you're going to need to stretch your hamstrings, because the hamstrings assist on the same function the glutes do, hip extension. So it doesn't matter if you do squats, deadlifts, or like any glute exercise has hip extension, which the hamstrings can assist on. And if they're tight, they're going to take over on it. Some other examples here is if you have tight hip flexors, it doesn't matter what ab exercises you do. Like, yeah, there's thousands of different ab exercises out there, but if you have tight hip flexors, you aren't going to be able to have a strong core, because your hip flexors are gonna always try to take over no matter what. Now, let's look at some examples here when it comes to the upper body. The biggest, most common thing I see when it comes to the upper body is having tight upper traps and a tight neck. So let's look at some examples here. You're trying to bench press and do push-ups to develop your chest. You push your shoulders out like this, but you have tight upper traps here. So the shoulders are elevated like this throughout the entire range of motion when you're pushing, and these anterior fibers of the upper traps are doing all the work, and the pecs aren't. Now, when it comes to the rhomboids here, when it comes to training the rhomboids and lower and mid traps, trying to make those muscles stronger, you do a wide grip row, or a reverse fly, or just whatever you do there. The posterior fibers of the upper traps are taking over and doing all the work, because you're performing the movement with the shoulder blades elevated like this. So as you can see here, there's kind of a relationship between flexibility and focus, because having tight muscles will decrease the range of motion in certain exercises you do. So now let's talk about how this can affect the lats. So with tight upper traps here and a tight neck, when you do your lat pull downs, your shoulders are elevated like this, okay? So you could get your shoulders all the way down here, but if your shoulder blades are elevated like this, you are decreasing the range of motion. Because to get the lats to fully contract, you need to get those shoulder blades down too. And you might not be capable of doing that due to the tight upper traps here. So even when doing lat pull downs, these upper traps could still take over and cause the lats not to be taken through their full range of motion. So it's not necessarily that you aren't paying attention to your form in the exercise, but the problem here is you have tight upper traps. You need to focus on flexibility here in the upper traps before you can develop those lats and make them stronger. Alright, now let's look at another example here with the back. So let's say the pecs are tight. You have tight pecs. Well, when you do your back exercises, you won't be able to move those shoulders all the way back because the pecs are tight. So you won't be able to train your rhomboids, even though you'll be able to stimulate them and actually make them do the work during the exercise. You won't be able to get them to fully contract. The pecs aren't able to lengthen all the way to let the shoulder move all the way back. If you have tight calves, you'll have lack of ankle mobility. Then when you squat, what this will cause is the hips to move back like this and have a forward lean. And then when you do your squats like this constantly, develop tight hamstrings. And then when you develop tight hamstrings, you'll have weak glutes, because your hamstrings will take over in every single hip extension movement. So as you can see here, you can kind of tell how this is all a kinetic chain here. It's just a chain of events. One tight muscle can cause another muscle to be tight, which causes two muscles to be weak. Alright, so how stretching will make you stronger here, you need to find out what muscles of yours are tight and then stretch those muscles that are tight. You don't need to stretch the other ones, just the ones that are tight. If you don't know which muscles of yours are tight, my squat form series and postural series shows you how to find out which muscles of yours are tight, shows you how to analyze your form in your squat and analyze your posture, and based off what specific improper functions you have in your squat and in your posture, you'll be able to find out which muscles of yours are tight. So if you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you.